Why? Just why? Okay. It is currently 12:30 in the morning. Okay, I'm going to say that right now. Two, I just saw the third episode of the Spider-Man TV show. And oh my gosh. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Okay, so show starts, the Jackal's terrorizing the city. Spider-Man's trying to stop him. He's on the phone with Harry, which is kind of a cool setup. I like that. And then we're going through. A helicopter's going down. Spider-Man tries to save himself, but then he webs onto the other helicopter, and then he takes the helicopter out, which makes sense, I guess, because he's still young. He's still trying to get used to, trying to be Spider-Man and trying to be smart about what he's doing. Of course, he's making mistakes. That's human. That's normal. And then he has to stop that from falling, and then he just grabs it and puts it down, which I thought was a good showing of his strength. But a lot of people argue, well, he may not be that strong. I think he is. I think he can kind of hold up a helicopter for a second to set it down, depending on how fast it's going, of course. And then he saves Gwen from the Jackal. And I gotta say, first glance at her, I don't like her look, really. I think she looks a little too, like, I wish she was a little bit more nerdy, like with the glasses and with her hair. Her hair is kind of short. I mean, like, if you compare this to Spectacular Spider-Man, that's the look I was looking for. But in this one, I don't know, her look is kind of weird for me. I don't really like it that much. And then they're sitting there, they're talking and arguing about how he could have prevented the helicopter from falling, or another way of it using some type of wind mill or whatever. And I'll get to that in a second. I'll get to that at the end of the video, and then you'll understand why I'm completely like, I have to review this now. Because originally I was going to review three episodes. I was going to review 3, 4, and 5 in one. But because of this stupidity, we're doing this now, okay? Alright. Oh my god. Okay, so... And then it goes to Spider-Man being late for this Osborn thing, which is okay with Harry, because he knew he was going to be late. And then we get to see Norman Osborn. Looks okay, looks kind of cool, looks a little old, looks a little... Alright, so... And then I think we see a little Herman Schultz, like almost like a teenager Herman Schultz, and then we see like his friend, which I don't know his name. They have these technology. Of course, Schultz has the shock gloves, which transmit sound, whatever the stupid sciencey shit is. And then you got the other guy who can use sound to carry things, or, well, they both kind of like use their sound waves to balance each other's ability to move this water and put it back into a cup, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool the way they did that. But then the stupidest thing happens. Then these two start fighting in the middle of the Osborn building, mind you. This is the Osborn building. This is like a straight-up fight caused by an adult Norman Osborn. I'm not fucking joking. The adult Norman Osborn convinced these two kids to fight with dangerous technology attached to them. and they start causing chaos. 2 scientists get blown out of a fucking window, and Peter's launched out of the window too. He has to save them, and then he has to quickly change into Spider-Man. And again, I gotta say, his suit looks pretty cool. That's probably one of the things I've heard so far from other people about talking about the show so far, is that the suit looks good. The suit really does look good. But anyway, back to the review. So then he shows up, he's trying to be the adult and kind of keep these 2 from fighting, and he surprisingly doesn't do a good job, because of course he's a teenager himself. So then this scientist, or whatever, tries to set off an alarm because there's going to be some fire, and then something happens where Peter's saying, no, it's a bad idea, and then all of a sudden it creates this sound bomb. And what would have happened was, if the sound bomb went off, it would have launched Gwen, Miles, and everybody out of the window. So he had to create a web net, which Gwen obviously had to tell him. You might as well have just cast me to do the voice, because that's how fucking... Look, I'm not super sciencey, but I know a little bit. So I would have been perfect for this damn role. I mean, come on, look at me. I'm kidding. But yeah, I think one of my biggest problems with this episode, not even the series, with the episode, is Gwen. Like, sitting there like, oh, you could have did it this way. Oh, you could just make a web net. Oh, you can do this, you can do that. Like, bitch, I can do it myself. Like, I'm the superhero. Like, I'm sorry. Like I said, it's 12:30 in the morning, and I'm, like, trying to review this right now. Because of how ridiculous it is. It's so dumb. Why does Gwen have to sit... I mean, listen, Gwen is smart. Gwen is really smart. But I feel like Peter should be smarter, or just as smart. So I think that's one of the biggest problems lately with a few people lately, is that a lot of people think that he's dumb, or he's treated dumb in this series, which I could agree to an extent. He is kind of treated like he is a little not so smart, or as smart as them, as the other kids in the school and stuff like that. That does bother me and a lot of other people. Okay, back to the review. So they're in the street, the kids are fighting again, and then Jackal takes the opportunity to steal their tech. And then Spider-Man's fighting Jackal again. So he gets help from the kids by them telling him about the weaknesses in their technology, and which he uses to exploit those weaknesses, and then he breaks the technology. Jackal decides, I'm gonna drop the kids, and then the stupidest, I repeat, the stupidest and most illogical, doesn't make sense, ripped straight out of something the Flash from DC would do. He webs a fucking, like, I don't know what it is, like some type of construction thing, and then he starts twirling it around like he's the fucking Flash, and he creates this mini tornado, or this fan. What? When the fuck could Spider-Man do that? What? You mean to tell me Spider-Man, not the Flash, not Superman, Spider-Man, webbed the construction piece, twirled it around, used it as a fan to stop the kids from falling? You could have just made a web net, or you could have jumped up in the air and caught them or something. What the fuck was that? Like, for real, that was the dumbest thing ever. And listen, it's 12:30 in the morning, and as a Spider-Man fan, I see that? What? I just don't think that's physically possible. I just don't think it's physically possible. That doesn't make sense. For a TV show that tries to balance scientific, reason or scientific believability, for them to just outright and just whatever they did with that, it just leaves you speechless. Like, what the hell? Like, if you guys saw the episode, you know what I'm talking about. But for those of you who don't, Spider-Man cannot just take a piece of something, twirl it around like he's fucking Wonder Woman, and just create a mini tornado. That's not physically possible. He can't do that. For a show that's trying to go for a scientific and logical, makes sense, believable approach, it did a bad job here, and this is only the third episode. Now I'm worried. That's weird. That doesn't make sense. That's just, it blows my mind. And hopefully the next episode is not crazy. Okay, so let me wrap up this review. Okay, so everybody's saved, and then Osborn, oh my god, okay. Fuck it. Alright. I don't even know if I can finish this review. Okay, so everyone's okay. Harry still hates Spider-Man. Norman Osborn was able to recover his son's stuff, and he brought it to his lab and everything. Okay, there you go. There's your fucking review. This episode was so bad and cheesy that it makes you want to question your sanity. Or maybe that's just because I'm tired. It's 12:30 in the morning, okay? So anyway, guys, a weird review, but I had to review this. This was too much, okay? But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I am out of here. Up, and away to sleep. See ya.